Today I will be going to every cute bookstore in Toronto in an attempt to find my new favorite hangout spot. Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. Today we're gonna be hunting down the perfect, most aesthetic, cute bookstore in the city because I need a new favorite spot where I can go and hang out, buy books, read books, and basically spend all my money in one place. The requirements for the perfect bookstore are it has to have a big selection of books, and it also needs to have popular books, new releases, and everything like that because that's mostly what I tend to lean towards. Ideally, I also wanted to have a little sitting area, a little lounge area where you can actually like sit with your books and read in peace. And it does need to have a really good vibe, really warm, welcoming, and just like happy energy. Last but certainly not least, it needs to have a cute little coffee shop attached to it because I need a coffee or a matcha or a little sweet treat every time I'm book shopping, so that would be ideal. In order to track down my top options for the bookstores, I did what any Gen Z would do, which is go on TikTok and watch YouTube videos. So we ended up going to 5 different bookstores, some of which were better than others, but I'm pretty sure I found the one. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait and see until the end of the video how I rated all of them and which one was my favorite. But there's some good hidden gems in there. The first step of the day was at bookstore / coffee shop little combo, so that was already looking very promising. It's called Flying Books at Neverland, and it's kind of a low-key indie bookstore with a smaller selection, but it did have some new releases and popular books. This place was adorable. It had the cute little indie bookstore vibe. It had a little sitting area where you could sit and read. It had chill, like little lo-fi music playing in the background, so it was a really good vibe. Everybody there had really good energy, so we decided to sit there for a bit. Like I said, this was part coffee shop, and it was the first stop of the day, so obviously we needed a little caffeine, so I ended up getting an iced vanilla latte. My sister ended up getting matcha. Both ended up rating the drinks probably like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. They used a different milk than what we asked for, so it just like tasted kind of funny. But regardless of that, we did sit and do a little bit of reading for like an hour or so. My current read is King of Wrath, which is book 1 of the King of Sin series by Anna Hong, and I was eating this up at the bookstore. To be fair, I'm pretty sure I would eat up anything written by Anna Hong. She just knows how to write a good male main character, and this one in specific is A Billion Romance, which is one of my favorite tropes of all time. So obviously I was eating this up, I was having so much of it, underlining things, annotating it like crazy, and it was a really good vibe to sit and do that. Didn't have the biggest selection, but it did have a good selection of new releases, popular books. It had a little cafe, it had sitting area, and it had a really good vibe overall. So 4 out of 5 stars, and we're off to a good start. After a while, we decided to relocate to another bookstore. This is part of a franchise, I'm pretty sure, and it is BMV Books. I looked it up online, and the pictures that they had on Google looked super cute. The picture showed this massive 2-story bookstore, and it had a coffee shop attached with a bunch of cute little sweet treats. So I was really excited. And according to the pictures, it also had really cozy little seating areas. So I was like, great, we're gonna go get some sweet treats and just like sit and continue to read. But once we got there, the whole second story was closed off. I don't know why. And also, there was no cafe anymore. Cue the sad music now. We still decided to give it a chance. We walked in, we walked around, looked at the books, but unfortunately the book selection was also very much lacking. It was very mid. It didn't have any of the kind of genres that me and my sister like to read. Honestly, it didn't have any kind of like new releases or popular releases or anything like that. It was a bunch of like really old random books, a lot of self-help books, just like random stuff like socks, like bookish type socks, but also not really related to any of the things that I like to read about. So that was definitely disappointing. Honestly, my rating for this one would be 0 stars, but that's not possible, so we're gonna do 1. Actually, I take that back. This is my video, and I'm deciding to make that possible because that bookstore does not deserve even the 1 star. It had a very small book selection in general. It had no new releases, no popular books, no sitting area, no coffee shop, and if that's not bad enough, it also just had a very like distant, like cold kind of vibe. Like I just did not really enjoy being in there. The vibes were not giving. It was just like not very welcoming. Needless to say, we're kind of sad, very disappointed, especially because we drove there and I ended up paying $16 for all day parking because I thought we were gonna spend a couple hours there. It was really sad having to walk out of there within literally 5 minutes with A, no new books, and B, just like in a bad mood. That was a little dramatic, it wasn't that bad, but it was definitely not the bookstore experience that we were looking for. Now would be a really good time to give me a pity like and a pity subscribe to make me feel a little bit better about spending $16 paying for parking at a spot that I stayed at for literally 3 minutes. I'm just kidding, you don't have to, but it would really make my day if you decide to. Don't you worry though, because I'm not a quitter and I was not about to let that stop me from finding my new favorite bookstore. I tried to find some bookstores that were in the area, so I ended up stumbling upon Swift Design Books, and we just like walked over there to go and check it out. Very hopeful about this one. However, when we got there, it was still not the vibe we were looking for. It did have some books, but this was just like a really fancy, really bougie, really overpriced type of bookstores, and they had like mostly coffee table books. They also just had a bunch of random candles and posters, but none of that was what we were looking for. So unfortunately, we didn't love that one either. This one had a large book selection, but it wasn't the books we were looking for. It had no seating area, no coffee shop, but it did have a really good vibe. It smelled really good in there, and everything was like super clean and organized, so I get some points for that. Overall, I would say I rate that one probably like 2 out of 5 stars, but we're getting better. Don't you worry, our day was saved because our next find was amazing. It honestly blows my mind that I haven't been there with it being in Toronto because it's such a good little location. This was Indigo at the Well in downtown Toronto. For those of you that live in the area, I definitely recommend checking it out. Indigo is like a big bookstore brand in Canada. It's kind of the equivalent of like a Barnes and Noble. So I pretty much knew what the vibe was gonna be like because they all kind of tend to be very similar. But this one was just like so cute. So obviously I did a little bit of shopping.
She was 17 with a dream of finding love again, and put her heart in the arms of someone new. He took advantage of her light, but it wasn't enough, so he went and left her in the dark without a clue. Oh, 18 and her life is on the line again. She's popping pills with her friends and sneaking out. She knows that she's wasting all the time with him, but she can't picture him not being around. She said, so why can't we feel something different? We just need to close that distance. Bring me close to you. Don't let go, don't let go.
This bookstore has literally every book you could ever need. First of all, Elsie Silver. I want to read this whole series when I'm done reading everything else that I have already. I need to finish this series. I need to finish this series. I need to start and finish this whole series. You should read this. This was a 5-star. This was also a 5-star. I really want to read this, which is another book by Abby Jimenez. I want to read this and the sequel. I have to finish this series. I'm supposed to be on a book buying ban, but I feel like it should be legal when the store is this cute and has so many options. This is literally the coolest bookstore I've ever been to in my entire life. It had a pretty big selection. It had basically every new release and popular book that you could ever need. It had numerous spots where you could sit and lounge at, and it had a coffee shop, and this one was like super cute. It was like this van design inside of the freaking location. It was so freaking cute, and the vibes were overall unmatched. So this one gets 5 stars. So obviously I did a little bit of shopping. This is the book that I got. This is Caught Up by Liz Ford. It is book 3 of a series. If you want to read this, like, you don't have to read the rest of the series. Like, I started with the first book and the guy just like pissed me off. I don't know why. Like, the guy in the first book just kind of gave me the ick and I could not get over it. He was just like so cocky, and it's just like, no, like, you're done. So I could not freaking handle it. I tried to listen to the audiobook and I was like, no, like, you're just not for me. And then I read the second book, absolutely ate it up. I think there is a reading blog of that somewhere, and this is book 3. This one is a professional baseball player. He's like the starting pitcher for the Chicago baseball team. He's like a single dad. So he's like a single dad trope. And I think he falls in love with his nanny, who is, I think, significantly younger than him. So there's like a little bit of age gap, a little forbidden romance, a little, oh, I shouldn't get with her, and he's like very moody and keeps firing all his nannies. So I think this is gonna be a really good read. I've heard amazing things about this one, and I've also heard amazing things about the fourth one, which just came out. So I cannot wait to read all of those. So stay tuned, reading vlogs coming soon for all that. After that, I had to rush home to make it to my Pilates class on time, but the next day I went to yet another bookstore, and this one was so cute. I'm gonna come clean right now and tell you that the only reason why I went to this bookstore is because they have a cat, as in a living, breathing cat that lives there, works there, hangs around, sleeps on the books, and I saw pictures of it online and I was like, I need to go there immediately. One thing about me, I'm a sucker for cats. I have 2 in the back of all my videos. I would have gone to the bookstore even if they had a total of 3 freaking books, because I just don't care. I just want to see the little kitty. Thankfully, this one had a massive book selection, although it was mostly older books. A lot of them were also secondhand, so bonus points for the discounted prices because everything was so cheap. Reusing and reselling books that are in perfect condition that other people have already read, because it just kind of saves a little bit of the overconsumption. So that was really cute. The vibe in there was definitely giving old bookstore. It's not the same vibe that I usually try to go for, which is a very like Pinterest aesthetic, very cute, very pink, and that sort of thing. But it definitely had its kind of like own little personality. And we spoke with the owner while we're there, and he just seems like such a like sweet guy that genuinely just loves books. So that was like really fun to be in kind of like that environment. So for the rating, it did have a large selection, however not a lot of popular releases, and it also didn't have a lot of romance books, unfortunately. It did not have a sitting area or a cafe, but it did have a really cute cat sitting there sleeping in a drawer, so 5 stars. Just kidding. Realistically, probably like a 3.5 stars, but I did find Ali Hazelwood's new release, Not in Love. It was in perfect condition for only $10 instead of the usual $25 that it goes for. So we'll bump up the rating to maybe 4 stars. My sister, who reads general fiction, she was there with me, and she did end up getting a lot of books, so they had a big selection for that. They just didn't have a lot of romance, which is kind of what I was looking for at the time. Also, this is so random. It's like the most random thing that has happened to me recently, but I just need to talk about it. I was talking to the owner, and the cat's name, the cat that was in the bookstore, the cat's name was Churchill, right? Random name. I've never met a cat named Churchill. I've never met a human named Churchill, except maybe a historical figure. So I'm like, oh, that's an interesting name. Cute. Move on with my day. Literally, very next morning, I pick up my current read, which is Butcher and Blackbird, and I open up the book. I start reading. Immediately, in the chapter that I start reading at, it starts talking about the main character who rescues a cat. Guess the cat's name. No, guess. I'm gonna wait. Churchill. Excuse me, what are the freaking odds of that happening? That's 2 cats in a span of 24 hours. Anyway, so that's the end of this adventure. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely think I found some hidden gems, some really cute, unique bookstores, and I did really enjoy that Indigo at the well. So we'll definitely be going back once I break my book buying ban. If you enjoyed this video and you would like me to do a part 2 where I try to find other bookstores, maybe in other areas, maybe in my city, maybe in other cities, because I love to travel and just like go to different bookstores in different parts of the world, let me know, because I would love to do that. So that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, drop a like on this video and subscribe. Pretty please, cherry on top. That would make my whole entire day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!